You do like to make life difficult for yourself, Matthew. Hello and welcome to Big Friendly Grub. I hope you're well. Now recently I've been doing a lot of videos that are kind of a little bit different. I've been doing like food tastings, I've been doing videos where I eat ridiculously spicy chocolate. Clever me. I've also been doing videos where I try out things like TikTok recipes and things like that. But today I want to dial it back, go a little bit more old school Big Friendly Grub, if there's such a thing as old school Big Friendly Grub. I've only been doing this a year or so, but that's what I want to do. Today I want to do some just really good old-fashioned baking. And I want to do that by making one of my favourite, in fact probably my favourite cake in the whole world, and that is a coffee and walnut cake. I absolutely adore coffee and walnut cake, and that's probably because my mum makes the best coffee and walnut cake. So today I'm going to make a coffee and walnut cake based off of her recipe. It's pretty similar, don't know if it's identical, but it's pretty similar, and I think this is the best coffee cake in the world, best coffee and walnut cake ever. And if you disagree, I respect your opinion, but you're wrong. So yeah, I really want to show you how to make this today. And the secret ingredient, not so secret because I'm about to show you, and I'm sure other people do it as well, but the secret ingredient is this. It's upside down. Camp chicory and coffee essence. This stuff is amazing in coffee and walnut cakes. It gives it such a wonderful, intense coffee flavour, but also the chicory in it just adds something to it as well. I love this stuff. It's not the easiest stuff to get hold of, but I managed to get hold of this in like a local garden centre shop, but I think Waitrose does it again now, so you can pick it up in Waitrose. Don't know about other supermarkets, but keep an eye out. It's usually amongst the baking stuff, but this stuff is fantastic. But if you can't get hold of this stuff, I am also putting regular coffee into this as well, so you can probably just up the amount of coffee you're putting in, make it a little bit more intense. But personally, I think this stuff absolutely makes this cake amazing. So I really can't wait to show you this because it's a horrible, grey, rainy day. It's October, it's a bit grim. So I want to make some real comfort food in coffee and walnut cake. I can't wait for this. Let's get started. For our best of the coffee and walnut cake, we're going to need self-raising flour, caster sugar, unsalted butter, walnuts, eggs, baking powder, camp chicory and coffee essence, and coffee. Now before I do anything else, I'm going to blitz up my walnuts until they're nice and fine. You can do this in a food processor like I am, or you could just pop them into a bag and just beat the living hell out of them with a rolling pin, which is also very good and also very therapeutic. But I'm using a food processor because I have no anger to beat out today, believe it or not. Let's give these a quick blitz in the food processor. There we go, lovely and fine walnuts. Those will go nicely in our cake. Now for our cake batter, we want to go in with our softened butter. It's nicely soft, it's just squeezably soft, it's not super runny or anything like that. So we're going to go in with our butter and the same amount of caster sugar. I'm going to beat those together until they're lovely and light and fluffy. Now that our butter and sugar is nice and light and fluffy, we can put our eggs into it. So eggs in one at a time. I stress one at a time because of that one error that I made on that very first cake video that I made on the site. One egg, and mix that in. 2, 3, and 4. And then we can go in with our self-raising flour and our baking powder and just combine that in on a low speed. And then we're going to go in with our coffee and our camp chicory coffee essence. I'm just going to fold all that through nice and gently. It's going to look quite wet, but we've still got our walnuts to go in. And lastly, in with our walnuts and fold those through. Then we just need to divide our mixture between 2 8-inch cake tins, which I've greased and lined already. You can weigh it out, but I'm just going to try and eyeball it. Spread this all out nice and evenly. Then these can go into the oven at 180 degrees C for about 25 minutes until they're nicely baked, and you can put a skewer through them and it comes out clean. Right, it has been about 30 minutes. I gave it about 30 minutes in the end because It hadn't quite cooked through after 25, but it should be good now. So these are coming out. They smell fantastic. And I'm just going to pop a skewer through my cake. Just check that it is cooked through and that comes out clean. Yeah, that looks pretty darn clean to me. Not that it will focus, but there we go. So these can now come out of the tin. They can cool down completely, and then we can get on with our decorating, which we're going to need buttercream for, which we can make next while these are cooling down. Now for our coffee buttercream, all we're going to need is some more squeezably soft butter. You can tell it's squeezably soft because it's already got my fingerprints in it. Icing sugar and more of our camp coffee essence, which you can substitute out for regular coffee if you don't have it. And that's all we need. So for our buttercream, I'm going to be using my stand mixer because I want to beat this butter until it's really light and fluffy, much lighter in colour, and I can do that much more effectively using this than I can relying on my arm muscles. So I'm going to pop this into my stand mixer and beat this until it's much, much lighter and fluffier. So you can see that butter is much lighter in colour and a lot creamier, so that is perfect. So I'm going to get into here our icing sugar. I'm going to put in half to start off with because it goes everywhere, and mix that into the butter. And then in with the rest. So you can see we've got a lovely light and pale buttercream there. It's really nice and fluffy, which is brilliant. So we just want to add in our coffee, or our camp coffee essence in this case, and then let that all combine through. There we go, check out the colour on that. Beautiful coffee colour, lovely and light, kind of like a cappuccino or a mocha. Looks fantastic, smells even better. So that is our buttercream all done. So I'm going to put this to one side until our cakes are cooled down, and then we can get on with decorating it with our buttercream and finishing it off. And it's going to be great, and I can't wait. That kind of rhymed. Okay, my coffee and walnut cakes are now nice and cool, so I can get these decorated. So this one is slightly bigger. So this is the one that I'm going to trim off because this will be my base on a nice level top. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I've got my cake trimmer here, so I just want to get this trimmed off using this. So hopefully I won't make a complete hash of this, so just going to pull this through, saw right through it, and it's going through quite nicely, so it must have cooked well. Let's take this top away, and I'll get under my cake and transfer this onto my cake stand, my rotating cake stand, so I can get this decorated. And then, I don't know why today, but I've decided to put my buttercream into a piping bag. I've never actually done this before. I'm just feeling fancy today, I guess. But let's give it a go. So I'm going to try and squeeze this out. That's not working at all. Why are you doing this, Matthew? Let's do it this way instead. You do like to make life difficult for yourself, Matthew. The piping bag was a terrible idea, so decided to nix that. Right, now we've got some of our filling in. I'm going to pop on the top and get our buttercream onto the top of our cake as well to decorate that. Just try and neaten up this top as best as I can. Decorating is not my strong point, as you can probably see. But with this cake, it doesn't matter too much because it just tastes so good. Then I'm just going to get this finished off by decorating it with some whole walnut halves. What's a whole half? You know what I mean. Not walnut pieces, but actual halves of walnuts. Then I'm also going to use some of these chocolate covered coffee beans as well, which I absolutely adore. And there we go, one coffee and walnut cake. It's not the prettiest coffee and walnut cake in the world, but I can guarantee it's going to be one of the best tasting coffee and walnut cakes because I just absolutely love this recipe. It's so good. I love it so much. It is my favourite cake in the whole world, and I can't wait to get stuck into it, so I'm not gonna. Right, let's get ourselves a slice out of this. I'm going to take the walnut out of the middle because it just makes it easier to cut. Goes through so nicely. It's not the straightest cut I've ever sliced in the world, but never mind. Move that away. Oh yes. Oh yes. Look at that. That looks fantastic. That is really, really nice. That's cooked really, really well. Cooked, baked. And that is a lovely slice of coffee cake. Coffee and walnut cake. That looks incredible. Ah, can't wait to try that. It's my favourite thing in the world. Check that out. That's come out really, really nicely. I'm really happy with that. And I've talked enough, I'm sure you'll agree. I'm just going to taste this because this is my favourite cake in the world. I just love it so much. If you're not a fan of coffee, then you're a bit out of luck. But if you are, then personally I think this is the best coffee cake in the world. And I won't hear otherwise. Oh, so good. So good. I'm sure it's the camp coffee essence that makes this cake. It really is. I don't know if it's like nostalgia because this is how my mum's always made it, but it's so good. There's no other cake that comes near it for me. I've just got to stand here and eat this. It's so good. There's such a hit of coffee in that icing. It's just enough walnut. You get the texture of the walnut and the flavour of the walnut, but it doesn't dominate. It's just so good. I love it so much. It's simply the best coffee and walnut cake for me. You might disagree, but you'd be wrong. I just love it so much. It's amazing. So there we go. Personally, my ultimate coffee and walnut cake. It is so good. It's just, I just love it so much. It is literally the best cake for me, as I said. And that's how you make it. It's not the prettiest one in the world, but it tastes so good. It really, really does. I suggest you give it a go. It's so good. And that's it from me this week. That is how you make my ultimate coffee and walnut cake. Do give it a go. If you love coffee and walnut, then you can't go wrong with that. You honestly can't. And if you do give it a go, do let me know because I love that recipe so much and it is one of my favourite cakes in the world. So yeah, that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. If you do, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification. If you do, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to find out when I'm putting up new videos. Otherwise, take care of yourselves and I'm going to go off and I'm going to finish off that coffee and walnut cake, or at least that slice, not the whole thing. I am running a marathon tomorrow after all. So we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye. Roko, what are you doing? You've got food. Why are you scratching around there? It's my cat deciding to get in on the action. You would pick now to go in your litter tray. Great, thanks. Go to the bathroom while I'm trying to make cake. Thanks, Roko.